Time to do our Class 2 tournament in this game, and where I've decided for this, I'm going to stick with the 944 I used in the previous segment, because I figured I might as well. So, it's now time for us to do the Class 2 tournament of the Golden Era, because I figured I might as well get some more money whilst I'm here before doing the next one make event, which I think is the 924 trophy if I'm not mistaken. Oh wait a minute, no. It's the 928 trophy that I think we're doing next after this. So yeah, let's do this. And the tracks we are going to include Black Forest, Seaside, Downtown, and Lighthouse Cliffs. 50 grand if we can win. A majority of the field is driving Porsche 944s. I might as well do the same. I know the car is fully repaired, and of course I am gonna go with this one because more money's up, because more points are up for grabs, and I'm also pretty sure this will be relatively easy. So here we go, let's race in the Black Forest of Germany. So, time of day is midday, and it's also going to be snowing, of course. Since I basically battle-scarred this thing last time out, and somehow won at the end of the day, even though it came down purely to luck, I was able to eventually win the battle. And now I've got to see if I can make
3, 2, 1, go!
Another 30-point run whilst I'm here. Because as I've established, the tournament events are clearly easier than the weekend race events. At least that's my understanding of the whole thing. And I just hit, I think, a giveaway sign. Although it probably doesn't matter too much because I'm likely going to dominate the tournament yet again, like I've basically done for most of these events so far. With the exception of the 944 trophy, which, to be completely honest, I think... Oh, I am going completely the wrong way. Although I guess part of the reason for that is because of the course map confusing me. So, I was totally confused there, judging by the course map. I thought for sure that was going to be a spiral, but apparent as it might be, it wasn't. I basically knew sooner or later that roundabout was going to catch me out, but either way, shouldn't matter too much because I will catch back up to the leaders fairly quickly. I don't think it's going to take me too long to retake the lead of this race and to be jovial again. Of course, I can probably say that was a debacle of an end to lap 2. Of course, I know parts of this course can tend to be deceiving, but hopefully I can manage to retake the lead with almost no problems at all, if I don't make the same mistake again. And I think I just hit a couple of bins, but either way, doesn't matter because there's still plenty of time. I can just as easily catch up to the leader. Hopefully this will not be as much of a chaotic shit show as the previous race was. I now know where the corner is, officially. I should also mention, today alone, I've made some good progress in this game, because I've already completed my recordings of the Classic Era events, and now I'm already here, approaching the halfway point of the Golden Era events.
You've beaten a lap record for this track. It's the final lap.
Alright, final lap here at Black Forest, as I'm gonna make sure this time around I do not miss the corner apex. I've had to fight my way to get back up to the front, and it looks as though from here I'm basically gonna pull away with the lead as long as I don't make the same mistake again of being deceived by that roundabout, which I would like to say on the track map is quite deceiving. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, no dice. At least that's what I always tend to say. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the track map there, that roundabout is very deceiving, because it looks like you have to take the whole thing just to effectively complete the corner, but either way, it doesn't matter now because I've learned from that mistake, and it is fair to say I'm not the sort of person who tends to make the same mistake twice usually. As in, I don't tend to repeat my mistakes consecutively.
Congratulations! You've won the race!
It's also very hard to imagine a scenario where I would not have won that race. But anyway, we move on. This time to race 2, which I think is going to be at the French seaside. But yes, we now move on to our second race of the Class 2 tournament. I've chosen to stick with the 944 simply because, well, I'm wanting to see if I can get a daytime shot with the thing. And an easy 10 points to me over Edge and Chump, who I think won the Session 1 race, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, let's now head over to the seaside, and where we are officially up against our guys of Axel, Buzz and Edge. And now down to 241,350 credits. Brakes were the only thing I needed to repair after that race, but we now move on to race 2, where we are at the French seaside, and where I'm going to assume we are probably on the border of Marseille, because this looks to be Monte Carlo. It's definitely the French Riviera the way I see it.
3, 2, 1, go!
But anyway, onwards with race 2, and where... oh, I think there was a little bit of a glitch there, I just felt, at least judging by what just happened there. It also looks like this car has a bit more damage than I think it realistically does. Of course, from time to time looks can be deceiving. It is definitely a wet race here at the French seaside. Of course, since we're on the coast of France, it probably doesn't surprise me too much. And I think it was trying to wreck me there for a moment, but obviously it was not going to pay off because I was already committed to the corner, and he got a much better exit off that corner than I did. And at the moment, we are actually fighting for the lead. As we pass under a bridge, I think that was. Couldn't tell if that was a tunnel or a bridge. No, anyway. Sliding my way back up into the lead once again. And trying to make sure I do not miss the corner entry. And that was probably the worst timed reset I could have made in basically this whole race. That's probably the worst reset I've made in this entire game so far. I thought for sure it was going to reset me back onto the track itself, but instead it just reset me where the house was. No, good thing it's a good thing these things are it's a good thing these races are 3 laps long and not 2 laps long. Because I'm pretty sure I would be feeling like shit right now if this was a 2-lap event. Fortunately, however, it is not. And at the moment I'm really struggling to get a hold of these inclement conditions, because I cannot concentrate on where the track surface is. And now, because of this, I'm going to try and see if changing view will help me. And sadly, it does not. I am sad now. Now I am very sad. Well, at least I'm catching up to the leaders once again, so I know precisely how to not take that corner this time. And they're actually pulling away from me.
It's the final lap.
No, probably doesn't matter if I do or don't win this race. I mean, to all intents and purposes, I kind of knew sooner or later one of these races was going to be a shit show. But at least I can say I'm closing in on second. So at least I can say that's one position I'll gain. Okay. I can definitely say that one part of the course has caught me out a few times. And I'm still being caught out by this course. I can definitely say this has definitely been a course of deception up to this point. Well, looks as though this is going to be where my win streak ends. I've also learned that downshifting slows you down. Also in this game, downshifting basically slows you down. At least that's according to what I've discovered so far.
You placed second.
And couldn't really be bothered to accept the results, so I just took my frustration out on the wall. I'm not having this. Well, guess that now ends the winning streak I was not keeping up to date with, but anyway, it doesn't matter because at least we're still going to be tied for the lead, so there aren't going to be any deficits I'll need to claw back. Still, that race overall was just terrible. And Chump has the most money of us so far because he seems to be leading the Session 1 championship. But anyway, let's now head over to downtown. And where I am going to put some repairs on this thing, so it at least proves I'm ready for the next battle of attrition I'll be facing. And thankfully this time around it's a dry race, so it's fair to say I do not have to worry about any weather intrusions. So the lap record is a 1 minute 12.1 and the race record is 3 minutes 37 seconds. Officially. So hopefully I can manage to redeem myself.
3, 2, 1, go!
From the shit that went down in the previous race. Because as I've now established, this car does not like driving in the wet. That's one thing I can confidently say. This is going abysmally at the moment. I'm basically making mistakes I wouldn't normally make and I'm not supposed to be making. I'm not sure if it's just because this feels like one of those off days, or if I'm just completely losing my skill to drive. It's definitely one of those two things I'm losing. I honestly don't know which one it is. It's definitely one of those. Because right now, I'm performing well below where I should be performing. I keep forgetting that corner's a fence. I keep forgetting that corner is surrounded by a fence. Well, the damage could have been much more severe there than it actually was. I think this might be a situation where I'm going up against someone who's potentially faster than me. At least judging by the intervals he's eking out.
You've beaten a lap record for this track. It's the final lap.
Well, I'm closing in on him again, so maybe I will be able to pull this off. And this time I'm going well to the outside of where the fence is, because I know that fence, because I know the fence there will just slow me down significantly. Obviously wasn't prepared to take the risk. And aside from me having that off race previously, so far this has been a mostly easy game the way I see it. Anyways, I win.
Congratulations! You've won the race!
And I've also set the lap record. And I won by 4 seconds in the end over Edge. Axel was third and Buzz finishes last. I think I will get a replay whilst I'm here. Even if it's only going to be temporary. But you know, I figured replays do have their purposes. I don't know if I should be happy with that result or if I should just be livid with the result of it. Although it probably doesn't matter because I still won the race at the end of the day anyway. And that's all I really care about. In spite of my very mediocre efforts. And where I could have easily done better than I actually did. Okay, anyways. Moving on. Before I get even more depressed with the damage I did. Because of my incompetence. But I think that is going to put me back up top now, the way I see it. because I'll be amazed if it doesn't. Okay, so I now have a 4-point lead over Edge. Jump has won all 3 of his races so far, and now we head over to our final race in Scotland, and where the course we are driving on is called Lighthouse Cliffs. And as for the race itself, it's going to be a whacked one. Going to be starting at the back, but as long as it's not a nighttime race, then hopefully I can manage to hold on to my championship lead. Hopefully. But we shall wait and see, because there are so many points up for grabs.
3, 2, 1, go!
Should have prepared this car before going into this race, but again, because we're in Scotland, I figured it probably wasn't worth it. And Edge at the moment is not giving me the edge. He is definitely not giving me the edge of glory, I can tell you that much. I've also discovered this car does not handle very well in the wet. At least it doesn't handle as well as the turbo does. Which I probably could have opted to use for this event, but chose not to. Because, well, I'm just trying to tiptoe my way around this course and make sure that I don't somehow put this car into a barrel roll. I cannot handle this thing at all, compared to what Edge is doing. I'm clearly way slower than he is, judging by how he's able to dive bomb into the corners. Which basically means I more or less need to do the same thing. I got a little confused there, but thankfully I did not overshoot the corner. I really do hope this doesn't come down to a tiebreaker. I think, to put it simply, that first lap was atrocious. Although I can definitely say this has been a more challenging race compared to many races I've done before. I mean, even though my win streak ended earlier on, as long as I can at least score probably 2 out of these 4 wins and somehow manage to not get this championship to be decided on a tiebreaker, then I'll pretty much be good the way I see it. Fuck. You know, good thing this is the last race, because I am already getting hungry. I'll also be glad to say I'm not going to be using this car again after this event. Excuse me, because the amount of damage I've already done to this thing, I've really given it some battle scars.
It's the final lap.
And doesn't look like I'm going to be breaking any lap records here, but either way, doesn't matter because I am still managing to perform somewhat acceptably. Although I can definitely say my performance at this point has been quite eccentric, to say the least. I could have definitely done better in this than I actually did. But again, as long as I win it all together, that's all I care about. Honestly, don't care whether or not I do get the clean sweep. I never do expect these things to be perfect. It does also show that with my imperfections, it shows I am human. I'm not invincible, I'm just human like everyone else, basically. Also pretty sure that's not going to be the last time I lose a race in this game. But whatever, I mean, as long as I win in terms of overall points, then that's basically all I care about. And it looks as though it's going to be 3 out of 4 to my 944.
Congratulations! You've won the race!
There were definitely ways in where that race could have easily gone better than it actually did. But the point is, I did win at the end of the day. No record-breaking laps, unfortunately, partly because I did this with a damaged car, but either way, I did manage to put these damaged goods to some good use. And I can now confidently say this is a Porsche 944 S2. Because I have 2 wins with this thing, officially. So Chump basically gets the sweep in his respective division, gets the full 20 grand. I may only get 19 grand from this, but I honestly don't care because I still get the overall winnings. Won by 8 points over Edge. Chump was third in the second 944 S2. Moose finishes fourth, tied with Shadow for fourth in fact. Then Axel sixth, followed by Vegas, and Buzz finishes last with 8 points. Well, let's move on. And before we check out our trophy, I have got some repairs to do. Because, as you can tell right now, this thing looks ugly. And it is fair to say I need to conduct repairs on all sides here. And that's precisely what I'm going to do, with a cost of only 10 grand. That's also a lot more money than I'll probably ever have in real life, but you know. There is that, so let's now go to our trophy room and check out the Class 2 trophy. So there it is. Our Class 2 trophy has now been earned. And next time we will be getting on with the 928 trophy. So 2 tournament events are now down. The Class 1 tournament event will be coming up shortly, but before then I have got to do a few more events first. But until then, stay tuned for more of Porsche 2000.